see it already in the early oil pilot scheme with Turkana and other parts of Kenya contributing to this important event. I think Tullow and its joint venture partners believe that Project Oil Kenya will be transformational, and that aligns, we believe, to the ambitions of the government of Kenya's Big Four agenda. The dream of delivering over 100,000 barrels a day from Project Oil Kenya and contributing to the realisation of the broader economic growth in the Lapsset corridor that can open up northern Kenya is firmly in our sights, and it is one of which we believe will deliver economic and social advances across not just northern Kenya but all of Kenya. We look forward to contributing to the Government of Kenya's vision for its oil and gas sector and the role we will firmly play in the economic transformation of the country. Asante sana.
Your Excellency, before I invite you to make your remarks, I want to thank those who have supported us, the joint venture players. I want to recognize African Oil. I want to recognize Total. We have their representatives here. The President of Africa Oil, Mr. Keith Hill, is here just to stand up for recognition. The Vice President for West Africa and Kenya for Total, Mr. Khalid Kuki. And Your Excellency, we want to thank you for supporting this project. Your government has supported this project through the various ministries. I want to say, for the last few months, we've seen the Ministry of Transport, Kenya, support us by fixing the road that brought all this crude, the road between Leseru and Lokicha. I also want to take this opportunity to thank KPA for hosting us this morning. And I want to thank my predecessor, the Minister of Energy, who began this journey. But Your Excellency, let me also take this opportunity to recognize the Kenya Pipeline Company present here, and the board is here, just to stand up for recognition. That is our board for Kenya Pipeline. KPRL, and we also have the National Oil NOC. And Your Excellency, as you know, NOC in every country is the image of petroleum. And therefore, we want to build this company. We want to build the KPRL. And of course, we've maintained standards, although with challenges, but we provided services through Kenya Pipeline, at least the security of products in the region has been through the Kenya Pipeline. Let me also take this opportunity, Your Excellency, to thank the members of Parliament, the Energy Committee. And I think the chair is here, and the chair is Honorable Pukose. The Senate Committee, represented by Professor Malik Ekal, the Senator for Turkana. And Your Excellency, also to thank my ministry, and for you to have given me this job from Turkana to coordinate activities of this ministry. Your Excellency, we have come a long journey. You remember in 2012 when we discovered oil in the 2 blocks. A lot of anxiety came into the country. Everybody said, is it enough? Should we pipe it? Is it going to work? Your Excellency, why I want to thank you today is because in January 2016, you took a decision that has brought these hiccups. The conventional cycle of oil and gas is 20 to 30 years. But you wanted to test the market. You directed us to undertake an unconventional cycle of testing what Kenya has already produced. And Your Excellency, thank you very much for that action. That followed. We collected the barrels we collected. We've been tracking 1,800 trucks that brought the 240 barrels. We're going to flag this afternoon. Your Excellency, this has been a shorter period compared to the 20-30 years we would have taken. But Your Excellency, I want to thank Talo once more, because in 1987, Your Excellency, I worked in the same block, pulling those GFOMs in Lokichar with an American company called Amaco. But Talo, with a Chinese company, BGP, discovered this oil in the same area where Turkana, through the American company, could not get. So in that case, I really want to thank them for this discovery. But Your Excellency, work has started. This is like a Premier League. Your Excellency, Kenyans like watching football and Premier League. I've always challenged my team that we cannot dance with the ball and talk of barrels and talk of shipping oil to the refineries here without this going through a vessel. For the first time, this is a milestone Kenyans can proudly say we have achieved. But Your Excellency, work has started. We need to actually discuss with the counties, the 7 counties, to deliver on land, because we need a pipeline. That work has already started. I'm sweet-talking Honorable Onyangapuo to give us the water. And today he has accepted to allow the project get the water for us to succeed with the new phase. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, this is a very good project for Kenya. When it's completed, I know it's going to open up the northern Kenya region. It will spur economic growth. It will create jobs for our Kenyans. If you go to Turkana today, Turkana has changed because of this oil we are talking about. Today's EOPS, Your Excellency, we want to transition to Project Oil Kenya. But that comes with challenges, because the investors would want to see us put on the table the land title that will actually allow the pipeline to be constructed from Lokichar to Lamu. We will need water, we will need commitment, Your Excellency. I want to promise you, with the joint venture team working with our government and with the new coordinating approach of the committee of cabinet, we will now track this project in the next 2 years. I want to promise Kenyans in front of our president that by 2020, we should have the plans to make us proceed with the construction of the pipeline from Lokichar to Lamu. Your Excellency, today is your day for you to flag this vessel. This is a momentous occasion for Kenya. It's a day each and every Kenyan will remember, a day when Kenya has joined the oil exporting countries. With those few remarks, Your Excellency, let me take this opportunity now to welcome you to make your remarks. Asante sana.
Asante sana John. Tuketi jameni. Asante. Hamjambo nyote asubuhi ya leo. Hamjambo tena. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by just saying what a great pleasure it is to join you this morning as we flag off the maiden crude oil export. Indeed, as has been said by many of the speakers today, in the history of any nation, there are special moments and seminal events that mark a turning point in the destiny of a country. Today's event, the first export of crude oil by our nation, therefore marks a special moment in our history as a people and as a country. The history of oil and gas exploration in Kenya dates back to 1937, when the first attempts at extraction of commercially viable deposits were made. While these initial attempts were unsuccessful, Kenya's potential for oil and gas had been established. Undeterred as a nation, we continued with the exploration efforts and the knowledge that the rich potential lying beneath the soils of our nation holds the key for greater development and prosperity for all our people. Indeed, our efforts came to fruition in 2012 when we discovered commercially viable deposits of oil in the South Lokichar Basin in Turkana County. And with that discovery, Kenya began her march towards becoming an oil-producing nation. Najua nyinyi tumekazana, mkiniharibia mimi The flag-off and commencement of the early oil pilot scheme in June 2019 marked the beginning of what promises to be a long but fruitful journey towards full development of Kenya's oil and gas resources. It showed the global markets that Kenya possesses the know-how and infrastructure required to facilitate full field development, which will be marked by the production and pipeline transportation of first oil from Lokichar to our port of Lamu. This early oil pilot scheme has also brought with it prosperity for the people of Turkana, but also the wider republic, with very many local communities directly benefiting from employment opportunities in production and logistics, in addition to the provision of ancillary and support services. Indeed, as we proceed to the full field development, we will ensure that local communities are major beneficiaries of these resources. My administration has put in place measures that will ensure that the fruits of prosperity are shared with the devolved units in an equitable and sustainable manner. We have also committed, as a government, to upgrade the Leseru-Lokichar Road and the modification works at the Kenya Petroleum Refinery Limited to support this early oil pilot scheme. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to say Kenya's grand march to oil and gas production and export has now begun. The flagging off of this maiden consignment represents a new dawn, not just for Kenya, but also for our region, and the beginning of a new era of greater prosperity for all Kenyans. This greater prosperity must, however, be jealously protected. And in this regard, I wish to underscore the government's unshakable commitment to sustainable development. We will ensure that Kenya's natural resources are utilized in a manner that yields maximum dividends today, but without compromising the interests of future generations. As we seek to fully harness our land-based natural resources for the benefit of Kenyans, my administration simultaneously is building our national capacity to take full advantage of our vast ocean resources. Many will recall that last month we signed an agreement with the Mediterranean Shipping Company, a shareholder in our Kenya National Shipping Line, which will revive the Kenya National Shipping Line as a national carrier. The renewal of the shipping and logistics sector will enable Kenya to participate more fully in the regional and global maritime transport value chains. And this, I believe, will create more than 50,000 new jobs in the medium term and make our imports cheaper and our exports that much more competitive. Further, through the Mediterranean Shipping Company, the Kenya National Shipping Line will gain access to more than 500 ports across the world. This will enable us to ship our oil and other exports through our national carrier and to get many, many more of our young people working in the maritime industry. So it is double pride today as we flag off 136 young, and I also understand old, Kenyan seafarers out of an already recruited group of 275. This cohort will serve in various fields, as we heard, from ship ratings, crew staff, cabin, secretaries, shop attendants, animators, etc. And remuneration for these seafarers is aligned to prevailing international salary scales, which, as you are aware, are quite competitive. I can happily disclose that the lowest salary of these seafarers will be a minimum of Kenya shillings 85,000 per month. In addition, each seafarer will receive one return ticket for annual leave, plus meals, accommodation, health insurance, as well as access to free world-class in-house training to enable them to progress in their careers. For the seafarers we are flagging off today, I urge you, na waomba, actually not urge, ni kuomba na waomba, na msimame jameni kwa sababu, mimi na waomba to use this unique opportunity wisely. Use your skills and your earnings to contribute to the growth of your families, your communities, and the country at large. And I also urge you to emulate the seafarers who have been recruited before you, because their exemplary performance with the Mediterranean Shipping Company has steadily increased the hiring of young Kenyans to work in their ships. So I urge you, please serve with professionalism, dignity, integrity, and build Kenya's reputation in the sea so that many more of your brothers and sisters can also have the opportunity to serve like you have been given. Asanteni sana. Tuketi, shukran. Musituaibisha jameni. Mukituaibisha ni wenzenu ambao watakosa kazi. nyinyi muwe vanguard ile itahakikisha ya kwamba wengine wengi watakuja kutafuta Wakenya kama nyinyi kuungana nanyi kwa hizo meli huko nje. Si ni kweli? Hii sio pesa kidogo jameni. Tukiwa na watu 50,000, 60,000, 100,000 wameandikwa kwa hii kazi, tayari nyinyi peke yenu mmebadilisha Kenya. Ai, jameni msituaibishe. Msituaibishe. Mweke jina ya inchi mbele, si ni hivyo? Na ndio wenzenu pia waweze kupata kazi kama nyinyi vile mmepata. Let me close my remarks by underscoring my administration's commitment to empower our youth. And we will continue to explore more opportunities for our youth to spread their wings and to develop their talents and to earn decent livelihoods. And that is why I call upon all Kenyans, and in particular our youth, to support government's efforts to build a strong economy. The renewal of the Kenya National Shipping Line and other initiatives that we are undertaking will, in a big way, benefit not just our coastal economy, but also indeed contribute to the overall development of our country. Let us all pull together for the greater good of our people. Mimi nataka kumalizia kusema mimi nashukuru viongozi wote, kwa sababu kazi hii haifanyiki kwa sababu ya mkono ya mtu mmoja. Ni vile tunashirikiana pamoja. Hiyo ndio inatuwezesha kupeleka taifa letu mbele. Tunaelewana? Na nimesikia magavana hapa, unajua lazima kila mtu ajitetee. Meanza na gavana ameomba mguu, gavana mwingine ameomba mbavu, mwingine ameomba maini, mwingine ameomba shingo. Sasa ni nafasi yangu. Si ni kweli? Hao wameombea watu yao kila moja. Mimi nasema kwa niaba ya Wakenya milioni 45, sijui tutakuwa ngapi tukimaliza kuhesabiwa, mimi naomba hii mbuzi mzima tuhakikishe imegawiwa kila moja wetu kwa njia ya haki. Na ndipo tumesema lazima tupambane na ufisadi, lazima tupambane na hiyo mambo ya kutumia rasilimali ya taifa kujijenga wewe binafsi. As I said the other day, rasilimali ya Kenya ni ya Wakenya. All we are as leaders is custodians. That is all. And we are custodians, and tomorrow there will be other custodians who will come. But your job is custodian. Sio kujenga kujijazia wewe. Na hiyo tutapambana naye wenzangu. Na tutahakikisha ya kwamba mali ya Wakenya ifikie Wakenya. Na tukifanya hivyo, nakwambia hii nchi ni tajiri. Hii nchi ni tajiri. Tutaweza tupambane na umaskini, tupambane, tuhakikishe watoto wetu wamesoma, tujenge barabara na mambo mengine kama haya. Na ndipo mimi nasema tujitambue, sio kwa pahali ambapo tumetoka, lakini tujitambue sisi kama Wakenya ambao wanajivunia, wanafurahia taifa lao. Mimi twaelekea Japan. Na shughuli moja yangu kubwa tukirudi ni vile tumefanya hapa mafuta. Mafuta sio ya watu ya Turkana, ni ya Wakenya. Lakini tunataka kuhakikisha hata pahali ambapo imetoka watu huko wamefaidika. Tunaelewana? Bandari hii sio ya watu ya pwani, ni ya Wakenya. Lakini tunataka kuhakikisha ya kwamba watu wa pwani pia na wa Mombasa in particular wamefaidika. Na ndipo tuwasema shughuli moja kubwa ambaye twaenda majaliwa ya Mwenyezi Mungu tuweze kumaliza tukiwa Japan ni kwenda na kumaliza mambo ya kuanzisha Dongo Kundu hapa. Tukianzisha Dongo Kundu, my friend, kwa sababu, you know, the big problem we have as a people sometimes is mtu anaona kile kitu ambacho iko, unataka kunyemelea hiyo, na umesahau ya kwamba hii bandari, hata kama tumeipanua, hii bandari imekuwa hapa for almost 100 years plus. Si ni kweli? So our job, but the population has also increased to the capacity that we need more economic activities. We can't just say we're depending on the port. So we want to go and see how we are going to start Dongo Kundu. If we start Dongo Kundu, as the governor has said here, those are hundreds and thousands of more jobs that we can get. If we diversify, restart our shipping line, there will be many, many more thousands of young men like these ones we are proudly setting off today, and women who will also get jobs. So I really beseech our leaders, tafadhali, hakuna faida ya tubishane kila siku kwa magazeti ati nani atapata headline kubwa kushinda mwenzake. Sisi njooni tuketi tuongee. Kama kuna shida tusuluhishe pamoja. Ya? Kama kuna maendeleo, kama wewe uko na idea ambaye yashinda yangu, your idea will take the day. All right? But there is no point in us mabishano. Tukibishana sasa, inasemekana ndovu wawili wakipigana nyasi ndio inaumia. Sisi tukipigana ni wananchi ambao wanaumia. Let us use our time to truly work and serve our nation. And that is why I want to thank all of those who have been involved in this process that we started almost 8 years ago. Because it is that collaboration between local leadership, local communities, county, national government, international investors that has made this day a possibility. Let us have many more such days that come from that kind of partnership. Let us be here one day celebrating Dongo Kundu, celebrating an export processing zone or free zones here that will employ thousands of Kenyans. Let us tuendelee, yeah? We celebrate another day tukiwa Naivasha, yeah? Starting off an inland port that will also create thousands of jobs for Kenyans. Let us celebrate tuende tufungue Kisumu na tufufue hiyo port na tuone thousands more jobs created in Kisumu as a result. Tuende tuanzishe factory zetu za kushona nguo, na ndio sehemu mbalimbali Kenya hii vijana waweze kupata makazi. That is what we should be celebrating. Hii ya kujipiga kifua na kuiba, hiyo sasa tuachane naye jamani. Yeah? Au mwasemaji wenzangu? Sini hapo wenzangu? Na mimi nataka kuambia haswa, you know, hata nyinyi here in the port, my friends, we are monitoring and we are watching. Tunajua ile pesa mlikuwa mnataka kutumia kule na ile tumetumia. Na ile mlikuwa mna intend kutumia. We know. Tunajua vile mnapanga huko, slow down huko, sijui nini, ati ndio mizigo iingie. Anyway, tunaelewa. Na mimi nataka niwaambie wote, kuna wasee sasa wameamua kufa kupona. Kazi hii ya kuchimbua tabu. So please, msiseme ni mimi sijatuma mtu. Wewe ndio umekutwa ukifanya lako. Na hawa wasee hawachesi. I'm telling you, hawachesi na hawacheki. tutasoma sisi tu kwa magazeti, fulani ndio huyo tena ameenda, huyo siku ingine fulani ndio huyo ameenda. So kila mtu pahali alipo fungua macho na ufikirie ile ambayo unafanya. Hakuna pahali ile mtu alikuwa anapiga simu, mambo yamekwenda, ni noma, nisaidie. Hizo simu zilizimwa. Sasa ni wewe ujitetee. Mungu awabariki. Leo ni siku tusherehekee pamoja. Asanteni sana.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Nikubalie tu tuketi kwa dakika moja, Mheshimiwa Rais. Tuketi kwa dakika moja tu nifanye tangazo moja ambalo litatufaa. Mheshimiwa Rais, kwa ruhusa yako tutaingia sasa kwa kipindi cha flagging off, na mahala ambapo tunaenda kufanyia uzinduzi pana uhaba wa nafasi. Niombe wafuatao na tutii ndio watakaomfuata Mheshimiwa Rais. Wale wengine mmoja ataweza kutazama, na tumeweka vizuizi kwa ajili ya usalama wangu na wako. Magavana wote watamfuata Mheshimiwa Rais, CDF, Mheshimiwa Munye, PS Mosonik, PS Andrew Kamau, PS Nancy Karigidhu, PS Professor Ndiba, Talu wakiwakilishwa na Paul Madel, Generali mstaafu Joseph Kibwana, Honorable.
All right, of course, that is in Mombasa, where President Uhuru Kenyatta has been a part of the flagging ceremony of the inaugural shipment of Kenyan crude oil. It is a momentous day. And just to give you a bit of context regarding when it started, 2012 is when Tullow Oil discovered the oil reserves in Turkana. And since then, we have been trying to get this up and running. Last year, in fact, the trial phase begun with 2,000 barrels of oil being distributed every single day between Mombasa and Turkana. Right, moving on to other stories. We will be having this discussion later on, but for now, in studio, Njoroge will be taking over, and he's going to be discussing other things with the guest. Samuel.
Hi, Shiksha.
Hi.
Everything okay so far?
All good.
I don't know, in terms of even the stories that we've been running, even on the census, and I'm very sure you've been counted.
Right.
I'm not one of those that have had the privilege yet. How was the experience for you?
It was very interesting. So a few of the questions that were asked included the ID number, but in case that's something that you do not want to answer, you have to simply tell the enumerators that I'm not comfortable in answering that, and they will move on to the next question. So it was a very simple process. It didn't take too long. So I think people shouldn't be afraid, because it's not something that is done because of personal gain. It is something for the development for the country in the next few years. And I think we should all be supportive to get the enumerators doing their work as best as they do.
And congratulations on the feature you did on the 44th tribe. And
it was our first time actually being counted as a tribe this year's census.
Absolutely. So it's quite a time when the nation finds itself quite literally under a series of fasts when it comes to the 2019 population and housing census. And right about now, we've had a conversation, not a conversation rather, but from Mombasa this day, we've had the president officially flag off, or at least he will be flagging off the very first shipment of crude oil. And 1.3 billion down the line, what will be the significance and contribution of this particular exercise to the economy and to the wellness of the nation? And courtesy of images that we're getting right about now on your screen, we'll see the president flag off this particular shipment moving forward. And we've had quite a number of people weighing on this conversation, but the most critical element will be how will the distribution of income now, be moving forward. We've had a conversation and a stalemate around this particular area for quite a long time. So it will be interesting to see the next step that government takes in providing leadership on this very matter. Also, we've had Tullow Oil express confidence that now moving forward we'll be in a position to generate even more. Remember in June 3rd this year when the president said that Kenya had joined the League of Oil Exporting Nations. At that particular time he was flagging off certain trucks from Lokichar to Mombasa, 156 barrels to be stored within the oil refineries in Mombasa in readiness for extra barrels to be generated so that we're able to hit the minimum requirement of 200, and that happened within the course of time, and that is precisely why the government has decided to embark on this particular move. Right about now, you've got images that we're receiving live from Mombasa, and as Gibson Mwandawiro there was indicating that only the president and governors will accompany each other to the spot at which this particular flagging off is supposed to commence. And we'll see how this actually pans out now moving forward, owing to the fact that there is a lot of excitement and hype that was generated around this issue back in 2012. We've had even the media cover it quite extensively, even emerging issues that have ensued from the same. At one point, the now Petroleum Cabinet Secretary, Munyes, had quite a hard time reconciling the interests of the locals together with government when it comes to the expectations, the interests, the distribution of income, and to what level everyone will be in a position to benefit from this particular project. So we've got analyst and political commentator, that is Issa Basil Matthews, who joins us right here in studio. Welcome to the program, sir. And it's a pleasure to host you on this particular topic. Let's begin by your understanding of what is happening in Mombasa today and some of the issues that could emerge now moving forward.
So, Njoroge, thank you. Beautiful studio.
Oh, thank you. This is Power 24.
Yes.
Karibu sana.
So, thank you so much. I think this is also a historic moment for me and you, that we are here and we are watching things happen in Mombasa in a very positive way. This is one of our landmarks as far as economy is concerned. But having said that, I think we have something to do beyond this. You have seen the president talking slightly emotional because probably he thinks that probably then now once the money start coming in, some people want to take advantage of that. So the most important thing is to guard our oil, and guard our oil meaning that we have to guard our money also, whatever it's being generated. And I think this one is some of the things we are going to do in a very sensitive way.
But it's something we've expected.
It's something
Since 2012, we knew once we clean up the oil and once we're in a position to export, there could be the window of unscrupulous businessmen, or should we call them cartels, as we love sanitizing them,
I think
that they were going to interrupt with the process.
Yes.
So why not do checks and balances in time to avoid that from happening?
So I think something has been done, and it's not only the cartels themselves. We're also talking about even the locals. So the locals will also have a say in this particular business. We don't need to assume them. This is a Kenyan project, Kenyan business, but we cannot assume where it's coming in. Taro is in Turkana, so they also have a say in one way or the other. So if the president in the past have gone there and promised that this percentage will actually go to the community, so let it go there. And once it goes to the community, so let the county government of Turkana also know how to spend that money.
The punch and extent of the say that the locals will have on this process,
yes,
is that a conversation that was ever concluded?
I don't think it has been concluded, and you must also take it in a very serious way. You remember, this is also some prayer. Remember that most countries have established the same kind of business, and you have seen what has happened. There has been wars because of this kind of thing. So we need to brace our oil from the source. So let's listen to the community. Let's understand what the community really needs and empower them as it is. Even as we go to buy products there, we also need to go and buy products in a developed community. Yes, Njoroge.
Developed community, yes. And I'm just going through some of the responses in as far as this particular story is concerned, and a critical question is being raised that hopefully we will address in the course of this show, probably at the tail end. But you mentioned a question of the locals,
yes,
Mheshimiwa.
Yes.
And not Mheshimiwa, Tarajiwa. And Tarajiwa.
Yes.
And the same question arose during the Muranga issue, the dam.
Yes.
Is it a Kenyan resource that is hosted in Muranga, or is it a Kenyan resource that is hosted in Turkana, or is it a Turkana resource for Kenya?
So these are Kenyan resources, whether it is Muranga, whether it is Nakuru, whether it is Nwajia, wherever, it is Kenyan resources. But one thing I'm saying that you cannot assume people or the locals in that particular region. So we keep on talking about blessings and so forth. So we need to listen to what they really need and so that we can also advise them that this is the way forward. This is not your oil, 100% per se, but you have some stake. So if you go to places like Mara, I think there's also something that happens to the rock host there. But this is a national thing. When tourists come to Kenya, they are very happy going to Mara, but in a way, the rock hosts also benefit. So if it happens in my region, I will also want the government to also consider some of these things. But the most important thing, Njoroge, I keep on insisting here is that we need to take care of our monies. So I think the president has talked about, not openly, but talking about the Kinoti, the DCI, and the DPP. They still have to do their jobs, so people do not need to switch off their phones. So in other words, so people must work diligently. People must do the things that are supposed to be done as far as you have been given that particular job. Because most people, it might also cost most people's job. Because if you want to do this job in the way that is not being expected, that you are talking about the cartels. And the cartels are now, they are overworking. So right now they even meet, wherever they meet, they are overworking. So they are doing their own budgets, and they know how to maybe, you even hear stories
siphon some money here
even
and there.
hear stories even on the highways that maybe the lorries have been, what they have
compromised.
Yeah, those kind of things. So, but we need a system that will be working. So I think where we are even now, I think God had also planned for the same. Where we are more informed as far as IT is concerned, information technology is concerned, the information and so forth. So you can actually be able to trace this oil from the source to the trucks, all the way to Mombasa, and even how the export is being done from the source. So let's not pretend that we are not going to do that. Yes.
Let's not pretend that we are not going to do that. There's so many people who are asking me a critical question here.
Yes.
And it's all about the presence of Governor Josephat Enoch.
Yes.
And why he's not in Mombasa. I believe in and during our subsequent bulletins, even those issues that you're raising in terms of speculation will be substantiated by our news desk. But for now, let's just continue with our conversation right here in studio in as far as what has been happening is concerned. And besides now the resource element of it, besides all this hype around exporting oil, let's briefly tie in this conversation to the ongoing census. When it comes to distribution of income and appreciation of the patterns of distribution that should inform that particular exercise, what should be our priorities moving forward?
So I think census is happening, although I also tell you I have not been counted.
Hawajafika bado.
But I hear there are some people who came on Friday and they found my wife and they asked how many people live here. Then they went, they marked. I think that was all about demarcation. So I'm hoping that they will come back so that we can also give them.
And count you now, literally.
Literally. Yeah, count me literally.
Yeah.
So I think that one is very important. Census is very important. I think everybody must support census because it's a way of informing the government on matters of sharing of the cake. So this is the real sharing of the cake that we are talking about, the economic one, not the political one. So it's very important. So when now we also add another share or in the economy from the oil, so that's why I'm saying it should also be taken care of, because this could be the reason why we'll move to the first world countries. If we manage our oil well, maybe God will also bless us with other resources, and then we will also be recognized.
Okay.
So that when Trump looks at that, he stop calling us what he calls us.
But then again, there is a question that hasn't been answered. Is it a blessing or is it a curse? Because the presence of oil in any nation brings forth those two elements. A question we may not answer today, IBM. But for now, thank you so much for coming in for the show. Shiksha Arora is standing by on the other side of the studio with your feedback on the issues that we've been discussing right here on the Daily Brief today. Shiksha?
All right, of course, as we have been telling you to tell us what you think, your views, share with us your feedback, and of course we will be doing that right about now, getting directly to Twitter, where we have tweets from a couple of you. That's at Hyper Joshua, who says, wastage of public funds, since when we had Huduma number, now this. Why should Matiang'i threaten Kenyans? They should feel obliged to participate and not forced. We've got another one that's come our way, which is at Fred11, who says, majority of questions are useless. things like tribe, ID, number, reasons for moving, blah, blah. I think census is about counting people. Just ask me how many we are in the house, achana na majina yetu. And I think that's something that I've also said. I experienced it as well. So if you are not somebody who's comfortable giving away your ID number, I think that's something that you can skip and move on to the next question, so don't you worry about that. I've got one from @Rio_Hartley who says, just because of their operation time, as a self-employed, it isn't possible for me to stay at home for a whole week, guessing when the enumerator is coming, but always available from 8 p.m. to the following day. That's quite a concern that has been raised by a couple of you as well regarding when they will be coming over. Another one that's @D_K_2 official who says, if the enumeration takes 30 minutes and you start at 6 hours to 10 p.m., that's 5 hours. That's 10 families per day. When will you finish? I think I must say that you're fantastic at math, so I guess you'll do the math yourself at a later time to find out more about that. And that is the last feedback, of course, that we will be taking. So yes, do make sure that you keep interacting with us right here at K24 TV, our social media handles. Remember, the hashtag is K24 Daily Brief, and of course that's where you're going to be finding us, and you'll be getting to share your thoughts regarding our topics of the day, our live events, and so much more.
Congratulations. You've done really well on your maiden appearance on the Daily Brief.
I promise I did not pay him to say that.
At K24 TV, and we believe that this is the momentum moving forward to the power of 24. Thank you for watching the show this day. My name is Samuel Njoroge, IBM. Thank you for coming through. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.
And I'm Shiksha Arora. We'll do this tomorrow, same time, same place. See you then.